With everything changing in the world right now, I've realized that millions of people will be joining me in my lifestyle of working from home that I've come to love. At the beginning, there definitely are a few bumps in the road, in the form of parents peeping over your shoulder during a Zoom call, struggling to cook for yourself for the first time, or making the hard choice between getting work done and cuddling with your dog. As I've seen countless memes pop up showing the struggles of working or studying from home, I've reflected on the things that I've learned doing this for the past 6 months, and I want to share my top 7 tips with you. One of the most appealing things about working from home is the idea of sitting in your pajamas all day long. When I started working for myself and realized that I had nowhere to go, I rejoiced at the idea of wearing my pajamas every single day. But that gets old super quickly, and it just makes it harder for me to get my day started. What started with wearing pajamas became watching YouTube for an hour after breakfast, which became watching Netflix in bed while multitasking. But the simple act of getting dressed just as I would for my 9 to 5, even if it meant being 20% less comfortable, helped me become 80% more productive. When you're working from home, every day can blur into the next, so even the simple act of picking out an outfit will make every day feel a little bit different. Now that I'm with my family while self-quarantining, I'm facing a struggle I had a lot at the beginning of working for myself. For the first week of my quarantine, somehow I thought the most sensible place to work would be downstairs in the company of my family. What I should have anticipated was that this would also mean the company of our barking dogs and the non-stop, anxiety-inducing 24/7 news cycle. After a week, enough was enough, and I dug up an old monitor and my trusty keyboard that I brought back from home. And now all that chaos with the pressure cooker whistles and my dad's yelling during conference calls was replaced by the delightful clicks and clacks of my keyboard. I realized that separating my work from home space, whether that means having a dedicated office portion of my bedroom, as I usually have, or a separate and quiet space in my family's home where I can work, helps me mentally separate my mind between work and fun so they don't all mush into one. Along those lines, I realized in the months after quitting my 9 to 5 how important it is to have a consistent schedule or routine to hold myself accountable. And this is a lot harder than it seems, at least for me. At the office or in school, we're used to having a schedule centered around meetings or classes to structure our time. But when working from home, you define your own schedule and may only have 1 or 2 events in your day to structure your time around. Initially, without a schedule, I sporadically went to the gym, woke up late in the morning, spent way too much time on my lunch break, and would work until 2 a.m. in the morning wondering where the time had gone. Without structure, I was working at 50% efficiency and double the time that I needed to. The first thing I did to set a consistent schedule was create a morning routine. For me, this meant waking up at the same time every day, and after returning home from my trip to the gym, preparing a fresh jug of coffee to enjoy and having a quick breakfast. Sometimes in the morning, if I have a lot of things to do, I prepare a to-do list or even an hourly schedule using my iPad. While this isn't something I do every single day, when I do, it serves to show me how the 10 hours in my workday will be structured if I don't have a calendar full of meetings to guide me. And beyond a daily routine, having weekly milestones have helped me structure my time as well. For example, I set days where I'm off and other days such as filming, editing, or video release days. Thus, even if I don't have meetings to dictate my schedule each day, I'll have these milestones to guide me. As I've been perfecting my schedule, I've also been working on perfecting my productivity stack. When I worked a 9 to 5, I had a set of random notebooks and even worse, Post-its to jot down notes and scribbles from meetings or pair programming. But beyond this messy note-taking, every other part of my 9 to 5 stack was decided for us. We used a mix of Slack, Google Drive, Confluence, and Jira to get work done. But once I started working for myself, it was up to me to find the best stack to connect and collaborate with others, keep track of my notes, and keep myself on top of things. So some of the tools I used include Google Hangouts, which I use for consulting calls, Google Drive, which I use to share files with my students, GitHub to store my code, Notion to take notes and keep track of my content, and Notability to replicate the experience of handwriting. But for others, the stack may differ. I've seen a lot of interesting tweets with people sharing their preferred stack with apps for collaborating on design, or talking with their team, or booking appointments online. And with social distancing, there even is an app that allows you to get career advice, resume feedback, and even referrals to top-paying companies without leaving your home. And that app is Rooftop Slushy, which happens to be this video's lovely sponsor. This is something I wish I had when I was applying for jobs in college but didn't have a professional network to lean on. With this app, you can get your resume screened by experienced software engineers and then get a referral from those engineers working at companies from Google and Facebook to Uber and to Sigma. stigma. So instead of having recruiters quickly screen your profile, engineers can be the ones to assess your technical achievements when referring you. So check out Rooftop Slushy if you haven't already, and thank you for sponsoring today's video. And now back to the tips. Something else I've realized after working from home is how important it is to get out of your home. It's so easy to get caught up in the cycle of working, eating, watching TV that you forget to get fresh air and reset your mind. For me, if I didn't have a dog, I definitely would have found myself going for days on end without stepping outside. So instead, before coronavirus was a thing, I took time to go to the gym, the grocery store, dog parks, on walks with Yogi, or even watering my plants to get some much needed vitamin D. Now that many of us might be under shelter in place or lockdowns, a lot of those things might seem less attainable. But I found that even opening my window and enjoying the spring breeze for a few minutes each day will help brighten my mood amidst all of this chaos. Or taking time to enjoy my parents' backyard with our dogs, maybe while sipping on some coffee or chai, or people watching from a safe distance, allows me to decompress and get out of that afternoon slump that we all experience. Even when I was trying to reach my peak productivity while working from home with the perfect setup and a perfect schedule, I still sometimes found myself not meeting my goals. With no peering bosses or the shame of having a coworker catch me staring at memes on Facebook, I quickly slipped into a bad habit of constantly checking my phone even if no one was messaging me, and having multiple tabs of Facebook, YouTube, and the news open. So even if I spent an hour working, I was wasting half that time passively scrolling through my phone or feed. To combat this and eliminate as many distractions as possible, I installed an app called Self-Control, which allows you to strip access to every distracting site for a set amount of time. This, paired with using the Pomodoro technique, which splits your time into 20-minute chunks of work and 5-minute breaks, makes it easy for those with short attention spans, like myself, to get work done and not get burnt out. And lastly, working from home also means knowing when to turn off. It's so easy to slip into having your work or school consume you, where you feel like there isn't enough time left in the day for anything else. But what I learned is that the time we give ourselves to work in a day isn't necessarily proportional to the amount of work we get done. This is because of something called the Parkinson's law, which is the idea that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. From school, this meant that despite your teacher giving you a whole month to write a research paper, you cram it all into the Sunday evening before it's due. Or at work, when you have one ticket left for the week, but wait until a day before the deadline to finish it. For me, this meant that I told myself I had to work until 10 p.m. each day, but realistically nothing much got done past 6 p.m. Now, I make sure that every day I have something to look forward to in the evening. It doesn't have to be fancy. Most of the time it's cooking or calling friends for an hour. Other times it's attending a virtual dance class or streaming a Netflix party with my friends. Whatever it is, I found that setting a time to stop working will help each day feel a little bit more normal. And that's it for today's video. I hope you're all doing well amidst the crazy, changing times that we're all experiencing. I'll still be making videos every single week, so if you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, please give it a big like and subscribe, and I'll see ya in the next one.